the United States from the beginning was, as Peter said, engaged in how to destroy the Allende government. First, when he didn't win the election in the 1960s, and then they tried to do a decertification campaign of the election in 1970. And then immediately when that failed, they began coup planning. And, you know, frankly, everybody knew it. I mean, everybody knew it. I was actually today, 50 years ago, in the streets in New York City, where I am today, with 10,000 people protesting against the US-sponsored coup d'etat. 10,000 people in New York City, and people all over Latin America, all over the United States, knew that the Nixon administration had used every available tool to destroy a government that came to power through democratic elections. They used the economic destabilization, as the Nixon administration said. We want to make the economy scream, meaning make so much suffering and misery for Chileans that they would be open to a coup. The U.S. used the same method, by the way, 20 years earlier when they overthrew the Iranian government. Mossadegh, also elected, who dared to nationalize the Anglo-Iranian oil company, what we now call BP. The U.S. did it to the Arbenz government when it nationalized United Fruit in 1954. It invaded Dominican Republic in 1965. You know, there was this history that everybody actually knew about. And as Allende said so eloquently from the podium in December 1972, he documented what the United States was actually doing. So it was like a coup, but it was a coup that was out in the open. And then the U.S. government just assumed that the U.S. corporate-owned media would go along and sanction anything as long as it was against the socialist government, even if that government came to power through a democratic election. You know, the ambassador mentioned that Allende won a plurality, 36% of the vote, but among working class and young Chileans, it was a vast majority of people who were voting for Allende. And the U.S. didn't want people in Latin America or anywhere to get the idea that they could use any means, not just armed struggle in the case of Cuba, but any means, including democratic elections in the case of Chile, to carry out change that would be, you know, beneficial to those countries, but detrimental to U.S. multinational corporations.